So I'm here on the test server, and I'm bringing you guys today a champion Barbarian build. If you don't know what the Barbarian is, it is a promotion for the champion class, and it is a CC damage dealing tank, just do it all type of class. Everybody knows that plays Crowfall that the Barbarian is pretty much busted. I was on my stream, and I shouldn't say stream, I was recording a video, and during the middle of the video, or I should say the very end of the video, I got attacked by 4 people, and I was kind of laughing at it in chat. I'm like, oh, come on, boys. It was 4v1 or 1v4. And they were like, well, you're a Barbarian, so I guess it was about fair, right? And I started laughing. I said, well, maybe. So pretty much everybody knows how insane the Barbarian is, and I'm kind of bringing you a very well-rounded build that's going to be able to kill people, and it's going to be able to survive a lot. So first, I want to tell you that in the description below, you're going to see the actual build that I'm going to put in here. There's a website that you can go to kind of do your build. It's a little bit confusing. The UI on it's not the best, but if you look and see just the boxes that are kind of around it, I know it's kind of like cluttered and a little bit hard to see, but it's still a very good tool to actually do your builds with, and it's a great way for you to go around and test everything you went out on your builds, kind of just put it on paper before you actually put it in the game. So I will have the build link to this in the description below, so you can go there and see everything about it if you don't want to watch the video. I'd appreciate you do, because we're gonna go over some tips and tricks and stuff like that and tell you why I picked what I picked. But let's get into the talent tree. So the talent tree, if you don't know what to do, I always suggest to take all 4 of the stat nodes. They are all located in the same spot right here, right here, right here, and right here. These 4 nodes, I always like to start with those if you don't know what you're doing. There are some classes that won't get all 4 of these, but they are really good, and you can never really go wrong with them. Okay, so let's talk about what we get just right off the bat with those 4 nodes, other than the stats. We're not going to pay attention to the stats too much. They're just going to give us a bunch of, you know, straight stats, basic attack, damage, power, efficiency, that kind of thing. So first, everybody starts off with Massive Cleave, and it's just going to be your AoE spell. It's going to be really good. We're going to talk about this skill a little bit more once we get to the Barbarian section, but this is going to be your AoE skill on your bar. Next, we're going to get Vicious Stomp. Vicious Stomp is either going to be your single target bleed with Rend, as you see there on the bottom. It does a decent amount of upfront damage, and it puts a nice bleed on them. Or you're going to go with Disarming Shout if you're in a situation where you have a handful of enemies in front of you, and it's going to suppress them for 6 seconds, which means they can't use skill, and do a decent amount of damage for it being an AoE. Pretty good. It's a little conal area in front of you, and it's pretty good. So next, we're going to go down here to Demoralizing Shout. This is going to be something I talk about here in a little bit when it comes to the gameplay. But Shout's in an area around you, dealing very little damage, but debuffing attack power and support power of your enemies by 20% for 15 seconds, and slowing them. So it's going to allow you to stick on your target, and it's going to be a very nice debuffer. Again, we have Fortification, which is a stat bundle, and then we're going to go Anger Management. I really like this little passive here. It applies a heal over time to you, buffs your attack power by 150 for 15 seconds when you're crowd controlled. This effect can occur once every 5 seconds, so you can have essentially a 5-second downtime. And it's going to be a little bit more than that, because you're not going to get CC'd every 20 seconds on the dot, but you're going to get CC'd a lot, and this is going to help you. Now, we are a class that can basically CC break at any time, unlike some other classes, which we will get to in a minute. But this class has a lot of ways to actually break CC, so you should never stay on the ground for very long. Next, we're going to do Second Wind. Now, you can actually take Throw Hurlbat instead of Second Wind, but I really like Second Wind. It recovers 375 health every 2 seconds over 10 seconds while you are below 50% health, after taking damage dropping you below 50% health. This is going to be another sustain tool. If you don't feel like you need the sustain, I would suggest you go for Throw Hurlbat. This is a decent damaging skill that slows your target, and it demounts the target if you need to. It's a pretty good skill, but I really like this Second Wind. This is only good for catching your targets with the Barbarian, because we're going to have a bunch of other ways to CC and slow our targets. So once we get on them, we should be able to stay on them, but still a really good skill, and it's a skill I really enjoy using. So next we're gonna go to this middle ability, and one of the two that every class gets no matter what. You get that one and you get the first one. You have to get those points, but even if you didn't, we'd be taking this anyway. So we have the leap power, which is just your leap. You can leap up to twice. It's really good. Every champion loves it. Even if you had to take it on somewhere in the tree, you'd still take it. Gives you some rage regen in and out of combat. Gives you max rage and some stamina. All really good stats. All stats you really want on the Barbarian, or really any champion, just whatever. So let's go to the Barbarian tree. If you don't know, each class has 3 different promotions. The champion has the Alpha Warrior, which is its big damaging AoE boss mode. Has the Barbarian, which is more of the melee control CC type of class. And then has its tanky class, the Pit Fighter. This class is pretty much unkillable and can just do some really big things. Now, this class, we are going to stay in male armor. The Pit Fighter can go into plate, but we are going to stay in male armor for the Barbarian class. And we're just going to get some stat adjustments here that are just your CC stats. Is going to make your CCs last longer. Going to be a little bit better on the CC train. That used to not matter as much, but now there's so much CC in the game and people are actually running out of stamina, this can be pretty devastating to your opponent. Typically, it hasn't been a stat very useful, but it's going up in popularity now that some things have changed with Crowfall and we have a little bit more CC and people actually run out of stamina. You get the traits granted: Great Axe Mastery, Great Mace Mastery. We're not speccing into anything very specific when it comes to crushing damage yet. What you will want to do eventually, once you get some crafted weapons or get some more specialized weapons, you're going to want to go with a Great Mace. We're going to be doing a lot of damage with our Neckbreaker, which is a crushing weapon. So you're going to want to stack crushing damage, which the mace does crushing damage, the axe does slashing damage. So you will want to have the mace and get crushing penetration on it, but you're not going to have that at the beginning, but just keep that in mind. Now we have our enhancements to our abilities, which are all really good. We have Leap, which applies a knockdown. So when you're trying to catch a target, if you leap onto him, it's just going to knock him down, which is really good. We have Whirling Pain, which is going to apply a slow and then suppress. Like I said, we were going to come back to that skill. It's pretty insane. It's just very good utility and is going to be very, very good. Then we have Neckbreaker. It costs reduction to 300 and applies a knockdown. We're going to be able to basically spam our Neckbreaker over and over again. It's going to give us so much. It's going to give us a decent amount of damage. It's going to apply a knockdown. We're going to see here in a second with our class skills, when we CC someone, it's going to give us some bonuses, and this is going to be just really good. We're going to spam Neckbreaker. It's pretty insane. We'll talk about the passive that I basically just talked about. Increase your damage bonus by 15% for 12 seconds, and heals for 375 whenever you apply a crowd control effect. You're going to keep this up, at least that damage bonus up, pretty much 100% of the time. There's no cooldown on it. You're just going to be able to CC people non-stop because we have so many ways to CC. You can spam your ultimate. We just have a lot of ways to actually provide crowd control, and we're going to keep this up pretty much 100% of the time. It's a great passive. Next, let's talk about Brutal Warrior. The champions are known for their warrior skills. Each one of them have, I think, yeah, so we have Alpha Warrior, yeah, Mighty Warrior. So each one of them have essentially a warrior that gives them a specific buff. The Brutal Warrior gives us increased movement speed, so we can stick on our target or more. Increase your size, healing, and healing for 1400, and damage nearby enemies for 330, which is good. So we're gonna get a decent little heal there off it. Then you gain 3 additional rage each time you hit, and then damage taken is reduced, and crowd control prevents are prevented briefly. And this can be cast while you're suffering from a crowd control effect, and it can be instantly flash cast, which means when you're CC'd, you can pop this to break out a CC. You can use your ultimate, which you can, like I said, you can essentially spam to break out a CC, and we're going to be able to retaliate to break out a CC. You should never be laying on the ground with this build. If you are, you're probably just doing something wrong, because you have so many ways to break CC with this class that you should never be laying on the ground. Next, let's talk about our little stat bundle here. We're just going to get some increased slash damage bonus and cap, and same thing with crushing. This is kind of the weaker, the ones that you get on all the classes, but we really don't need it. It's really good. We're going with the wind domain. I think a lot of people go with battle, but I like wind, and I'm going to show you why. That's going to basically go right into our disciplines here. We have Petrifier, which is going to give you attack power and movement speed damage bonus. I will say that you're going to see statistics on all of our disciplines, but you don't get all those right off the bat. You're not going to have any of those with the base discipline, and then you're going to get some of them in incremental patches as you level up the discipline. So first, let's talk about Petrification Illusion. This is going to increase your basic attack damage by 10%, which is amazing, and then for 15 seconds, and then modifies your third basic attack to slow enemies. Another way for us to stick on our target. As you can see, it's just going to be hard for our targets to get away with this class. And then we have Nothing to Lose, which is one of my favorite skills in the game. Sacrifice 500 health to increase critical strike chance by 10%, critical damage by 10%, power damage bonus melee by 5% for 15 seconds. So you might think, well, 500 health, I really don't want to lose 500 health. But as you can see, we have so much healing that if you just, what I like to do with this skill is if you pop Nothing to Lose and instantly neckbreaker into it, you're going to get almost, if you just knock down one person, you're going to get almost all of that health back already, because you're going to get 375 health back for knocking someone down. So that's almost getting the entirety of that health back. So realistically, it really doesn't cost really anything, and it's going to give us critical chance, critical damage, and power damage melee by 5%. It's just really good. We have pretty low critical chance, so this is going to really help us out to get those nice big crits. Next, we're going to go for Intimidator. Again, the attack power and rage we're not going to get until we start upgrading our discipline. But Frightened, which shouts out an enemy inflicting 418 damage, which is decent, reducing their damage bonus by 10% and healing bonus by 25. So another debuff. We're going to tell you a little bit here in a little bit about why I like this skill a lot. This one doesn't need a it doesn't need the wind domain, but just a regular champion domain. But really good, and it generates 1.5 rage every 1 second while in combat, which is a decent little passive, which is going to help us with one of our minor passives. So we'll talk about that minor passive now. Furious. Again, the slashing resistance we're not going to get, and it's going to be crushing resistance on the other one, but we're not going to talk about that. You'll get them as you level the discipline up. But Furious increases your damage bonus by 10% for 15 seconds when reaching 100 rage. Just another big damage bonus. 10 damage bonus is actually pretty big. The cap is 40. We can actually hit cap with this build pretty easily when we have all of our passes up. We can't keep it up 100% of the time, but it's just really good, and we're going to be able to reach 100 rage pretty easily with the way our build is set up. It's pretty good passive there. Just some straight gas. Then we have Sturdy. Sturdy is going to reinforce your body, reducing your health loss by 15% when you are above 85%. So essentially, the first 15% of your health is essentially going to be 30% of your health. Now, we have a couple things which I'm going to show you here in a second that is going to help you with this if you play it correctly. But let's go into our stats, and then we'll go into our race selection. The stats, I just max out strength first, max out con. Remember, when you are going through the tree as you're leveling, if you do not have the Prime or the VIP, which I believe everybody will have, unless you're getting like one of the random copies or like the very base copy of the game, everybody gets 1 month VIP, so it's not a big deal. But you can very easily overcap your damage stat here, because these bundles are very potent, so keep that in mind as you're leveling. But the second stack I am going to level is con. The higher health you have, the better Sturdy is. It's just a really good stat in general. It is a lot of this. It's one of the main stats that I'm going to level second on a lot of my characters. Now, some of my straight damaging characters, I'm going to go for a second damaging stat. But I always suggest you to level to max your main damage stat. That's going to give you, like for here, it gives me 500 attack power and 25.75 damage bonus. It is really good. It gives us a ton of damage. Like I said, 40's capped, so we only need a 15% to hit the cap, which we can get that easily through our build. And we're going to have this bonus capped out pretty easily, and it's just really good. Now we can actually get to, I believe with the build I have set up, 45%, but you're not going to be, you rarely will you ever actually overcap it. It'll just happen every once in a while if the stars aligned. So let's talk about my race choice. Realistically, all the races are really good. For this, I'm gonna try Stoneborn or Minotaur. My Warden build that you already saw, more than likely, is a Minotaur, and I don't want to do Minotaur again. I just really love the Minotaur class. The Minotaur class is probably my favorite. It gives you that stun immunity from the front. It gives you extra movement. It's just really good. If I play the Barbarian, I will probably play the Minotaur, but I wanted to give you, in my opinion, the second best race. Now, a lot of people are going to say Half Giant, but keep in mind, when you go Half Giant, you're not going to be able to use the Half Giant skill with the Warrior skills. All these Warrior skills you cannot use, and they share the same cooldown. So if you want to take that, you either have to waste their skill, which is part of the reason why you go Half Giant, or you don't take the Warrior skill. But I really love this Warrior skill. It's a CC break, gives me movement speed, gives me healing. Although the healing is not huge, I mean 1400 is still pretty good. But it gives me rage, which helps my furious. It's just a really good skill. I really recommend this. But you really could pick any race that you want. Let's go over why I like Stoneborn. It gives you con and strength as its two main stats, which is exactly what you want. And then we have Blood of the Mountain, which increases your incoming heal statistic by 15%, which is really good. Has a chance to instantly remove all bleed effects, which is really good. You know, just more defensive. The high forge doesn't really matter. And then I get knocked down. This is part of the reason why we can overcap our damage modifier there. Reduce the length of any knockdowns you suffer by 2 seconds. Again, we should never be laying on the ground. Like, this is another way for us to just reduce the damage or reduce the time that we're knocked down. I know this isn't a CC break, but we should just never be on the ground for very long at all. An increased damage bonus and healing bonus statistic by 5 for 12 seconds after suffering a knockdown. Again, a great stat. I love it. Stone Skin, which is the skill I wanted to talk about as well. Hardens your skin, dramatically increasing your damage reduction by 50% and making you poison immune for 6 seconds at the cost of reducing any healing done to you by 50%. You can use this skill one of two ways. You can either use it as a get out of jail free card. I'm getting super pressured. We're going to use this so that I can possibly survive. Or the better way to use this skill is, if you can anticipate it, use it as you're getting ready to take damage, as you're at 100% health, because this up with your sturdy, it's going to make it really hard for them to actually, and plus your healing, you're still going to heal. It's going to make them really hard to actually get you below that 85% threshold. And if they do, it's going to be easier for you to actually get it back over the 85% threshold, because you're going to be taking so much less damage. It's really, really good. I really like it. It's a skill that takes a little bit of skill to use if you use it for that top end where you're just trying to keep that sturdy proc up, but can be used really well. And then it has a typical barrel roll. So let's just kind of quickly go over the skills, which we've talked about a little bit. The one little combo I like to do is Demoralizing Shout with Frightened. If you look at these skills together, it debuffs your target attack power and support power by 20% for 15 seconds. And then inflicts some damage, reducing their damage bonus by 10% and their healing bonus by 25%. So this is going to be really good. You can stack this on a target if your group is trying to pressure them or you're trying to pressure them. You can stack these two up on a target. It's going to slow them, it's going to debuff them, and it's going to make it really easy to kill them. We already talked about Vicious Stomp, which is really good. We have Brutal Warrior, which is really good. Our AoE that applies a slow, the Stone Skin, of course our Petrification, and our Nothing to Lose. So essentially, we'll go over here and just kind of show you on a mob here. But here's our leap. We got a captain. We don't want that raid boss. Hopefully we didn't pull him. We didn't. Perfect. So we just got a handful of people here. So what I like to do is I'll hit my Nothing to Lose, and we'll go instantly into the neck breaker. So we essentially got most of our healing back. Boom. Now we're up, and we're just gonna AoE. Oh, they broke it. So now we're gonna use this AoE. Oh, I used my actual single target. We debuffed them there. And now we're just gonna do some AoE. And we CC'd. We're just gonna hit our ulti. And look at our health. It just stays up. We haven't even used our Stone Skin. Now, mind you, these are just mobs. It's not like These mobs do, you know, a ton of damage. I don't know why I'm picking up this stuff. Just habit. It's not like they do a lot of damage, but you can keep your health up pretty much 100% of the time. Even under extreme, you know, attack, you can really be very sustainable, and you can still kill a lot of people with this build. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. You can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Parfaxgaming. I'm going to be streaming Crowfall. Anything you need Crowfall, let me know. I have been playing for 6 years, well, 5 years, and I have a lot of builds coming out. I got a lot of stuff coming out in general on Crowfall. I don't know how many builds we'll get out before launch, just because there are so many things to do. I have so many videos that I want to actually do before launch, and we're at least getting 2 videos out this week for builds. We have the Warden, which you should already be out by the time this video goes live. I actually haven't posted a Crowfall video this week, and I have 3 of them done already. And then we'll have this video as well. So make sure you follow me on Twitch. We've had a blast playing Crowfall lately. We had a lot of people coming in, talking, just kind of chilling out. And remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you don't like the video, slap the dislike button, and let me know why you don't like it in the comment sections down below. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Remember, build description in the comment section, or in the description down below. All that good stuff. Follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Bye.